Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another installment of our new figure showcase specials, which is usually when I take a look at either a full set of figures or at least do a comparison. So for this episode, we're going to be taking a look at a comparison between the two Jake Sully Avatar figures that Hot Toys has put out. I do have reviews for both up individually on the channel, so if you're interested, they are available for you all to watch. But I did think it was interesting just to get a feel for what differences, if any, there might be. So again, the first one was released from the first Avatar, while the second is from the sequel, The Way of Water. In addition, Natiri is on her way, and by the time this video goes up, I should have her in hand. So, where to start? Let's just do an overall look. And when you take a look at the figures, first thought is they're completely different, right? And in large part, that's strongly due to the looks from their respective movies. The Avatar 1 version is from the film's final battle, and as such you're getting the Jake Avatar with war paint on, as well as a bandolier of grenades, heavy machine gun. He does also include a knife, similar to the newer release, but more importantly, he has a very ornate setup with armbands equipped with feathers, leg guards, and even a headpiece. Hair is massively different, but we'll look at those features shortly. And I'll ignore the base because those are very movie specific and again, not make it or break it things. But yeah, at first appearance, they do look significantly different. Height-wise, I thought there might be a slight difference, but that's due to the base and positioning. But that brings us to a major point. While the paint apps are different, the underlying body is identical. When you start to really look at things, it's the same. I did look at the thigh joints a little bit because I do think they're different. It is a little hard to tell, but I do think the new one might have slightly different joints. But that's kind of integral to the system and working of the body, and not really changing the overall look and joint placement, which is identical. And is that really surprising? We know Hot Toys is going to find a reason to reuse molds, right? They're expensive, so it should have been expected. And if we do get another Jake Sully from one of the next Avatar movies, or if Hot Toys ever decides to do a Quaritch from one of the upcoming movies, I feel like it's a given that they'll be reusing this body again. Now, the sculpts are 100% different. I mean, you don't have to look closely to note that. The first thing that stands out are the eyes. One of you actually gave me a tip to clean up the eyes on the older version so that they're not cloudy, so I still have to do that. But even if they were pristine, the eyes are an immediate impressive point to look at. The newer version, they just look stunning, excuse me, and there is a lot more detail incorporated into the small, irises. Also, the expression is different. The original has an open mouth look, while the new one is just more stoic. Look, I think they both look incredible, to be honest, but I do think when you look at the underlying work, the new one just looks better with some more detail work, and of course the hair totally different. And for you artisan fans, although this isn't artisan, right, the original one does stand out because all of the hair, all those intricate braids with strings and feathers, completely complex and all rooted, or at least done with rooted hair. The fact that they were able to do this and actually give us braids that look this impressive, it really adds something else to that original figure, and it just makes it visually pop. Now, the new one, there's nothing wrong with it, right? It looks great and it matches what was in the movie, but it's all sculpted. So definitely something that really stands apart from that original release. Now, the last item that really kind of differentiates both these figures are the paint apps. And look, we're talking about the underlying paint, right? Not the war paint, which clearly sets things apart, but more looking at the tiger stripe pattern. Now, the first version, like I said, is much more busier, has more wraps around the arms and the legs, so some of the details are hidden, while the new one is definitely much more exposed, so everything is visible. But I do think the new one has a better paint app job overall. Tiger stripes are a little lighter, for example, and just seem to blend in a little bit better, and the bodies also have these white dots that run down the head and chest and arms, and I do think the newer figure picks it up a little bit better. Even down to the feet, where the original was just blue, the new version has some of that striping right on the top portion of the feet. And then overall, right, the original just has a slightly more glossy finish. So in the light, you do see him being a little shiny, almost like he's sweating. I'm not sure that was the intention, but that's how he comes across. And the newer version is just a much more matte figure, and I think surprisingly might feel a little bit more real, especially for a giant fictional character like this. So look, I'll be honest, I love both. The original is always something that just grabs people's attention when they see him, and I think the second one works equally well. The second one is definitely a more simple figure when you compare it to the original, but that's okay, and for me, I'm good having the two different looks because they are significantly different, again, from an aesthetic perspective. But The underlying body is identical, if you were wondering. But let me know your thoughts, and as always, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the content, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.